Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again for another 2019/2020 Appalachian Trail Thru Hiker update. Why the slash? Well, we are still updating those 2019 Appalachian Trail Thru Hikers who are finishing up their hike, whether it be SOBO or flip-flop, and we're also updating the future class for 2020 as they get geared up, start producing videos, and get signed up for their epic journey on the Appalachian Trail in 2020. So, the best way what you can do is you can keep up with that by going to the link that I'll leave down in the description section, and that will give you all the folks that we are tracking thus far. We're tracking over 60 people right now who have signed up and are going to be updating via social media. If you're one of those folks out there, please go and make sure I've got those social media links correct. And also, if you're go and check that link out. If you're not on there, we want to make sure that you're on that link, because what we're here to do is build the hiker community and to support you on your journey, not only as the 2019 folks are finishing up, but as you get ready to get geared up and get ready to start for your 2020 adventure. So we want to make sure that folks can go there and find your social media links so they can go and comment and keep you just pumped up all the way to Katahdin or all the way to Springer or whichever direction you're going. So go there and check that out for me. And also, that's where folks that are just going to be sitting at home and following folks and cheering them on, you can go there as well and find those links. And I'll leave that down there. That is a Google spreadsheet, so you ought to be able to download that, no problem. And then also this channel, occasionally I'll have some type of gear review or something about my adventures on the Appalachian Trail. Hopefully you'll go and take advantage of some of those and take a look at that and learn from my mistakes and just enjoy that as you will. Let's go ahead and get on with the update. So right now we've got a lot of folks that are finishing up their SOBO hike. Springer, over the last week or so, we've had several folks that we've been tracking that have summited at Springer, and then other folks that have just completed their hike somewhere else on the trail, not necessarily at one of the terminus, or is that termini. At one of the ends of the trail. They didn't necessarily finish it either end, Katahdin or Springer. They finished somewhere in between because they were flip-flopping. So the folks that we have that summited up at Springer was Platypus, Valkyrie, Silicic, I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but I got pretty close, Salty, Needles and Sparknote, Mercury, Poppins, David Barr completed his hike, Squeegee, Jim Danko, and Pilgrim finished his flip-flop. So hopefully you caught some photos here of those folks that have finished in that. I want to give a big shout out to Valkyrie and Super Squirrel, who kept me updated on their tramley. They didn't necessarily finish with all of their tramley members, but folks that they had hiked with at some point in time on the trail that were near them that finished, they gave me their names and updates of when they finished, and even sent me their pictures. So if you know somebody else who has finished their hike either at Springer, and we think we've got all the Nobos at Katahdin that we know of for sure, but we'll take some of those as well. We want to give everybody credit. But SOBOs and flip-floppers, please send those my way. If you're one of those folks, you do it likewise. We want to make sure we give everybody credit and give a shout out to everybody that has finished such a monumental accomplishment in their lives. So if we missed you, we're sorry about that. So let's take a look at the weather of what the folks that are still out there on the trail, what they're going to be experiencing over the next coming week. It's going to be pretty chilly. We're getting into that season, of course, but the season this year is a little chillier and a little wet than it has been in previous seasons. So a little below average. So the lower section of the trail, which is where most of the folks are now, the daytime temps, they'll be above freezing, somewhere in the 40s, low to mid 40s, with rain towards the end of this upcoming week. And nighttime temperatures, of course, they're going to be below freezing, especially at altitude, and they're going to be in the low 30s to the high 20s, but then you're going to have wind chills. So the wind chills are going to make it feel like more in the low 20s and colder, because you will have some wind at night. So you guys, hopefully you got the gear out there that you need, and hopefully you're remembering to sleep with your batteries and saw your squeezes. And even if you're further up north, I've seen some folks that did their flip-flop, and they are north of Virginia, let's say. and they're waking up in the mornings with frozen boots and frozen clothes. So you might want to stick those down in the bottom of your bag as well, or up underneath your bags, because that's not really an ideal situation. Get up in the morning and try to put on 2 blocks of ice. But if I missed your update there, please let me know. I want to make sure that we included everybody on there. And then what about the folks that are actually out there on the trail? Well, Hawk, he is south of Pearisburg in Southern Virginia, and he's closing in on Roan Mountain Highlands here in a hurry. And he is being supported a lot by Fresh Ground. Fresh Ground supports a lot of people, and Fresh Ground usually picks somebody to kind of be his engine, as he calls it. And so Hawk, now on his yo-yo trip with his SOBO portion of that, Fresh Ground's picked him, and so they're kind of piling around a lot together. Fresh Ground's keeping him fed. Champ, he is in Bennington, Vermont. He just had a birthday. Happy birthday to you, Champ. And he'll be crossing into Massachusetts tomorrow. And he has 1,900 miles done and only about 100 left till he is done with the north. So congratulations on Champ. I know it's cold up there up north. There's a large group of SOBOs that are coming out of the 19E, of the station there at 19E, and David McGee there has updated me and shown me that if you'll remember, down in the Hikers Helping Hikers section, down in the description section, we've got a link down there where you can go and actually buy a hiker a beer, or buy them a room for the night, buy them some food or something like that. And so a lot of folks have come through and been able to take advantage of that. So folks that have done that online, greatly appreciate you helping out the hikers and continuing to be part of the hiker community, even though you can't actually get out there on the trail and do your trail angel work, but you can do it from the couch at home. So we greatly appreciate that. Here's a few folks that David said has come through, and these folks are on their way. I've heard that there's a large group coming through the Smokies right now. So they'll be, if they're not already through the Smokies, they'll be through there shortly and on their way to the Knock. So they don't have much time out there on the trail at all. If you're still out there and missed your update, love to include you in my next update next week, particularly those folks who finish your trail. So please send those updates to me. You can do that through my IM messenger over at ramdinoroamingthetrails. That's through Facebook, or you can send me an email at ramdinoroamingthetrails@gmail.com. And that's also how you can send me your thru hiker information if you're not on our list already, at ramdinoroamingthetrails@gmail.com. And I'll leave a template down in the description section that gives you all the information that I need for you to kind of fill in and send that to me. Or you could just take that template, copy and paste it, fill it out, and send it in the comment section down below. That works as well too. So a couple things about news from the trail. Still hunting season. I have seen a lot of people that have remembered to take some type of blaze orange, whether it be toe bog or something to put on their pack, or a hunter safety vest. So that's still a good idea. Those are still out there. And another news that I've learned through a trail angel out there that's a friend of mine, he says that for the 2020 class that there's possibly going to be a 14-mile reroute up there in Palmerton, Pennsylvania, near Lehigh Gap, around that zinc mine Superfund site. So they're going to be rerouted. The Appalachian Trail is already taking steps and actually doing trail work out there to do that reroute, and it's going to be a lot better because it's going to have a lot better views, and of course get away from all that kind of dead vegetation that's up there due to that Superfund site. And then also for next year, there's a half-mile reroute near Gooch Mountain down in Georgia. So they've been working on that, and the trail was really eroded just because all the pounding and the hiker bubble coming through there. And that's a very used, if not overused section. And so they have had folks out there that have been working on that, and that'll be a half-mile reroute. So that'll be for the class of 2020. So the trail will be just a little bit different, and that's normal every year. Some parts of the trail get rerouted just a little bit. Friend of mine, Oz, he did want me to give a shout out to Quicksand, Jen, Yoda, and Marion, and let them know that he's out there still enjoying their SOBO hike, and hope that everything's going good. And that's one person I forgot to update was Quicksand. That Quicksand, he is somewhere around Waynesboro. All right, so that is what we've got going on for the class of 2019. On to the class of 2020, they are up and running. The current registrations right now, NOBO, last week we had 835, and this week we have 910 folks that are registered. The busiest days on the trail right now is March 1st with 45 hikers and April 1st with 22 hikers. And so those are typically the two busiest days on the trail when the bubble gets started up. So might want to plan accordingly so that you've got shelter space and other things around there so that you don't impact the trail so much. Those are not really great days to start there with just so many folks out there, and the trail is with the 45 hikers, it's approaching the maximum of 50 very quickly, and will no doubt make that on several days while the bubble's coming through there, but certainly on March and April 1st, since those are the most popular days to start out there. SOBO, we had 20 last week. This week we've got 28. Flip-floppers, we had 29 last week, and this week we have 36. So last week we have a total 864 folks that are registered for the trail, and this week we have over 974 folks that are registered. So we are tracking over 60 of those folks. Want to keep adding to that, so keep sending me those folks that you know that you're tracking if we don't have on our list, or if you're a thru hiker for next year, let us know, fill out that information. We want to help you and do what we can to keep you going all the way to your final destination. A couple folks that we've added from last week: Melinda O'Brien, we've added her. Don McGill is a trail name of Greyhound. Jason Hancock, he's a trail name of the Hound, and then just somebody who just gave me their trail name, Utah. Gary Daly, he's got a trail name of Two Knee. Tina Plummer, she's got a trail name, I believe, of Silver. Aaron Movius and Rochelle Wallace Wynn. So those are the folks that we've added. When you go to that spreadsheet, the folks in red are the new folks for the week. So the folks in black we've already added from previous updates, so that'll kind of help you out there. A lot of folks have been putting out YouTube videos, and I've been enjoying watching those. Some of those gear reviews have been by Timberwolf, Owlcat, and Owlcat had one about trail wear for her dog. Nutty Hiker showing what was in her ditty bag. The Vintage Hikers had very interesting something that's applicable to section hikers now, and that's cold weather gear test. PTL had his shelter test, and Bearded Servant had a gear review, which is about an umbrella. So more and more folks are going to umbrellas. There's some folks last year that did that and seem to be really enjoying those umbrellas, particularly the lightweight versions. Folks been doing some showing us their videos for shakedowns on the Appalachian Trail, or just other trails in general that they were doing shakedowns. So we had Spotter, Oso, Frosty Hiker, Poncho, Hiking with the Owl, it was with a group, Silver Linings, Vegan Adventures, Hound, and he had a prep hike through the Grayson Highlands, Mount Rogers area. Very, very pretty, one of my favorite places on the trail. Jenna Russell and Free Walker. And Free Walker, he's kind of a very interesting person. Kind of reminds me of Ernest Hemingway, to sit there and watch him, and I'm looking forward to watching his stuff on the trail. And then we had Wild from Wild on the Trail channel. He did a video on thanking his subscribers. He hit over 500 subscribers, so congratulations to you, Wild. And I think that's great. And a video thanking your subscribers out there. Don't want to forget about them as well. So we still got one of the things we're featuring is under the Hikers Helping Hikers is Candy Mom. It's from 2002 hikers, and they're going to put and compile and if you are a thru hiker, I think it's a great idea to kind of build camaraderie and help. So good job there, Candy. Look forward to that. And of course, Frozen is still taking folks requests for people that he's going to mentor 3 hikers throughout their journey, and that's a great service there, Frozen. And both of those folks both those channels have deadlines for that, and those are approaching soon. So please go and take a look at their channels, and I'll leave the links to their channels down in the description to those videos, and then you can go and participate in that. Fresh Ground, he is, like I said, he is still out there on the trail. He's still taking donations. I will leave that down in the description section. Fresh Ground is probably the most well-known and the biggest trail angel out there that I can imagine. He starts out in Georgia and follows the bubble all the way up to Katahdin and all the way back, feeding people, providing shelter for them, in some cases getting them where they need to go with shuttle, although next year he's going to be doing more feeding than he's going to be doing shuttling, but he provides such a great service, and that doesn't come free. So he is not independent wealthy, and he will take donations, and so I'd encourage you to go and do that. Any donations he has that is in addition to what he needs to get him through the rest of the year will go to next year, because he will be doing it again next year. So I'll leave those down there, links to that down in the description section, or you can go and find those on his Facebook page at Fresh Ground, the Leapfrog Cafe. So I encourage you to do that. Still don't forget that we still got some SOBOs coming through, so you can still go down there in the description section and under the Hikers Helping Hiker section, and you can do Trail Magic from home with Station 19E, and there's a link there where you could go buy a beer or some food or a bunk space that's coming through. Folks, that is about all I have got this week. Hope you got something out of that. If you did, go down and leave a comment. Even if you didn't, leave me a comment. Tell me some things you'd like to see about my updates coming up. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications. Always appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.